of tankers, welcome back to my videos. I am Blitz, and today we are going to be talking about the Badger. Now I'm going to let you know ahead of time, none of these are my replays. I did not pick this tank up myself. I did spend a little bit of money trying to get it, but it did not turn out in my favor. It did for my friends, but apparently Wargaming does not like me right now. Hey Wargaming, if you want to give me a contributor account, hit me up. But ignoring that, this is the Badger. Sorry I'm a bit late on making a video for it. I really couldn't get any gameplay up. I needed to get some clips, and I was not able to make any for myself. But I am finally getting the video out, and this tank is still in the store by about, 15 hours. So hey, if you want to pick it up, I wouldn't suggest to do so, but it is there. Now, the Badger, I'm not going to be able to go over the statistics. I was trying to record outside of World of Tanks, and it was not recording the audio, so I'm just going to have to talk about statistics while in-game and see if I can get a little clip of the armor and stuff to roll by. But this tank is a 2,000 hit point beast, where you can put the armor on, which gives you 3% armor, or the hit point buff, which this guy has, which brings you up to 3,120 hit points, which is very healthy for a tier 10 tank. Now this tank sits at 3,450 base damage per minute, and that's with that is with gun rammer on. However, calibrated brings your AP penetration up 14, and it also brings your APCR up 19, so if you do want better penetration, you can run calibrated. I would not suggest to do so just because this tank is such a damage per minute beast, but the option is out there. Now this tank goes 30 kilometers per hour forwards and 12 backwards, so it is not a very quick tank. However, it weighs 62 tons with 871 horsepower, so if anything is to ram you, you do not want to get hit by it. Now, the traverse speed on this tank is about 30 degrees a second, ranging to about 25, depending on the terrain. So it does not turn very quick at all, and that is one of the issues with this tank, is it's very easy to flank it. And you saw that 121B try to do so. If you're in a bat jet, though, it's very easy to flank this tank. Now, one of the great things on this tank is the gun depression. It has 10 degrees of gun depression. You can see it working right here. It's kind of amazing on how well it actually works. Able to snap shells into pretty much anything, and with this amazing armor profile, bounce pretty much all the shots that come at you. It also has 20 degrees of gun elevation. Now, the aiming arc is not super spectacular. It's only 10 degrees each way, making it a 20-degree aiming arc, but it still is there. And one thing which I am actually a bit odd by is the turret or gun speed turning is actually pretty slow, which is quite odd because normally gun speed is not that slow. On most tank destroyers, the gun can move around very quickly, but the tank has to turn. This gun actually moves pretty slowly, as you can see when turning it, so that is one thing to keep in mind. However, I will put a little clip of the armor up now, and you can see this tank is ridiculous in the armor. It has 300 to 400 plus millimeters thick on the front, and that's without angling at all. You don't even need to angle with this tank. The lower plate when aiming dead straight is 250 millimeters thick. People are going to be spamming heat, APCR at you all day, and you can just hear that sweet sizzle of it bouncing right off you every time they shoot it. This tank's armor is just so good, and it's really just insane how thick it is. Now, if you do want to take it out, you want to shoot it in those two things that are sticking out. If you cannot get the lower plate, you want to load your heat rounds or APCR, and if you have no choice, you want to shoot it right in those two little round circles that stick out on the front of the tank, because that's about the weakest part. Still about 330 thick, but if you are in a tank destroyer or any tank that gets heat rounds, you should be able to manage to get through that. If you do not have enough penetration, though, you're pretty much going to be screwed, because this tank will eat you alive. And you see this replay here, this guy's managed to pick up 4,755 damage already, with 1,960 damage. So, damage blocked. So the armor is crazy. Now the rear of this tank is only 38 thick, so it is very weak. You can high explosive it all day, so you do want to stay clear of that. However, this tank does get Hesh with 65 penetration, raising that damage per minute up to about 4,200, so that is another thing to keep in mind. However, it is not like the normal Hesh on the 215B, it is low penetration, unfortunately. But this tank just overall is very strong and very tough, and I would not mess with this tank. Now you can see this guy did Royal Empire did 5,716 damage. It does earn credits, 72,000. He did not get the mastery, unfortunate, which means people are doing very well in this tank. As I've read on Blitz stars, the average win rate overall out of every player that owns it, and there's only 320 people that actually play this vehicle in North America, which means not a lot of people actually won this tank. So if you do own this tank, you are very lucky. But this tank is very rare and very good, and one of the best in the game as of right now for tank destroyers, in my opinion. But let's get stuck into that second replay. Now this player is on Desert Sands. I am not sure how to pronounce its name. Patrick, I'm not sure. I'm going to call him Patrick though, because that's the best thing I could come out of. But we have Patrick here in his Badger, and he is platooned up with an E100, and they make up to be a great platoon. And I will point out now, this guy is running 25 APCR rounds. I do think that's a bit excessive. Because of just how much penetration this tank has, but you can also see this tank is a very, very large ammo loadout. Let's see, that's 50-60 rounds. So that is a very nice and healthy ammo loadout. You're never going to have to run out of ammo in battle, pretty much ever. And since this tank earns credits, you're not going to have to feel bad about running APCR rounds. Now, their team made a very odd push of pushing into the desert. I normally would not do this, but my guess of them pushing the Badger through here is that he can use his gun depression through the hills and sort of, hide the lower plates. However, the enemy team pushes a complete flush through the heavy side, and it does not really work out super well for his team starting off. They've already lost a tank destroyer. However, this Patrick is shooting at their tank, already bounced an IS-7, and that is not going to be the first bounce he gets this match. Because you can see they've already lost 2 tanks, and it is not going to go well for that IS-7 on their team either. Now you can see this tank does have a very quick aiming time. Even on turning, it aims in very quickly. That E75 does not understand how quick this tank's reload is, as it snaps him while he's trying to shoot. That E75 did get a very nice rollout. And now this 183 wanted to have a little bit of a go at this tank for some reason. Don't know why. But you can see the aiming circle is not actually that great. However, it does aim in very quickly. So the accuracy on this tank, it doesn't seem to be the best, but it still can make its shots count, because you're not going to really have to worry about your accuracy in this vehicle, because it's more of a close range tank. But you can see that he is shooting at the 183 now. He accidentally shoots him right in the gun mantlet, which always sucks, but this U-75 pulls out for a little love tap, and he is dead. And there is still the 183 there, so it is risky to push out, and he is double thinking about that, and he decides to go around, because it's really not worth it to go get hit by a 183. For some reason, that 183 keeps pulling out. Now, if I were him, I would shoot him right in the front track wheel like he did and track that 183, because that would really help him. And that 54 is now trying to flank around at the same time. This 183 again just keeps showing his lower plate for some reason and wasting another repair kit. I don't understand what the 183 is thinking. He shoots a Hesh which only does 300 damage just because this tank has so much armor. It only does 300. Normally a Hesh should do 500, 600, even if it doesn't penetrate. This tank only 300. That's how strong this tank's armor profile is. And again, snap right into the side of that T-54E1, bringing him down to 1 health. Unfortunately, that's always a hate, because now he has to drive all the way over here just to take away that 1 hit point to help out his buddy in that E100. Now, they've turned this match from a 7 versus 2 into a 5 versus 2, and now a 4 versus 2. Now it is just the E100 and the Badger, and he's already picked up 3,068 damage, and he is still very healthy. The tank I would target here is the Batchat. That is the #1 tank you want to take out. Now, the Badger here, Patrick, tried to shoot that IS-4's track wheel, but it just ricochets off the front of that IS-4. And that IS-4 is a bit of a threat right now, as he is non-stop penetrating him, and it looks like they're screwed. Like, really. I have no clue how they managed to pull this off so well, but the Patrick is going to be shooting APCR right into the lower or upper plate of this IS-7, and you can just see haul down. This tank is a beast. Right now, that Badger on their team should have been shooting at this Badger. That's where they screwed up this game. They really should have helped out their IS-7 buddy, because the E-100 has armor, but it doesn't have damage for minutes. That is one thing that they took for granted, because now, when they were ignoring the Badger has come back, and it is nailing all of them, and boom, goes the IS-4. And now this Batchat, which should have flanked him in the first place when that IS-7 was shooting at him, is now flanking him now, which really sucks, because the Batchat screws up his shell, gets hit with a high explosive for 550, and now the Batchat is a one-shot. But so is the Badger, and if you look, that enemy team's Badger is at 1100 hit points. So this is a very tough match. Unfortunately, that shell just whizzes by. That was a very easy shot, and I really think that one should have gone through, but it sucks that didn't. But the Batchat bounces the Badger twice with 2 8PCR rounds, and now it is Badger versus Badger. Now, if you take a look, the enemy Badger has 1100 hit points, and this Badger has 35. Now, the very logical and smart decision to do immediately is load high explosive and shoot the Badger with high explosive right in the track, or pretty much anywhere that shows up orange. However, this enemy Badger is not very smart, and misses his first shell, and gets penetrated. And now this enemy Badger is still not shooting high explosive. He is going to bounce right off the front of him. That enemy Badger is not a very good player, and that is one of the issues with these crates, is that not very good players do buy these crates, and they are not very good, as you can see. You definitely would want to shoot a high explosive there if anybody was in the other hands and they knew how to use high explosive. This guy would not be alive right now. You'd pull right out, shoot that high explosive, done, game over. However, Patrick got very lucky with 6,812 damage, picking up a mastery, and 75,000 credits. So this tank earns very nice credits. He also managed to pick up a Radley Walters medal, Steel Wall, Defender, Spartan. This tank is very good. It's one of the best tank destroyers in the game as of right now. And his Z100 buddy did very good too. In total, he fired 26 shells, only 19 of them penetrated, so that is not a very good ratio. But he did miss a couple of his shots just by user error. But you can see that this tank is very nice in total. I do think if it was $100 or $50, I'd say go buy it, but it's not. It's in a crate, and I'd say don't buy it, because you have the chance of getting it in one crate for $7, or you have the chance of getting it in 1,000 crates for, $500, and you could not get it there. You have the possibility of not getting this tank at all out of $1 million. And if they made this tank come out like how the Scorpion G did, where you can buy these crates, but after you open a certain amount you get it guaranteed, that would be more of a fine system. The issue with this system is that you could spend $300 and get literally nothing out of it but 100,000 free experience, and nobody's happy with that. Nobody really wants premium time and free experience. As much as Wargaming tries hiding it, it's really not fair for players that spend a lot of money trying to get these tanks. Then there's these not very good new players that have 5,000, 4,000 battles, 1,000 battles, that pick up this tank on their first crate or second crate. But that's just my opinion. You can let me know down in the comments below what you think. Thank you for watching this video, though. If you did like it, please subscribe, leave a comment down below, like it, and I'll see you in the next one.